So just assume that this set is a podcast set, right? And we are recording this. We have maybe 2, 3 multiple cameras covering different angles. And at the end of the day, there was a script for this podcast, right? There was a script. We were talking to each other. The cameraman is recording us. At the end of the day, we start the post-production process. So the guy goes back, cuts out all the places he needs to cut out, changes this, put text on it, and all of that. And I used to be involved in that, all right, because I work for a creative agency, a digital marketing agency, but also a creative agency. Some 3-4 years ago, the process of writing the script, recording this conversation, post-producing it, and eventually running it on the screen, eventually would take about, if you are very, very fast, 2 weeks, right? Now, the beauty of AI is that using just 3 apps, I can do all of that in 90 minutes.
Wow.
Right? I can do it in 90 minutes. So I can get a screen in front of me, do the recording, a chatbot has written the story for me, the script for this podcast that we're having. I can finish it, push it onto an AI tool, and even the way we are talking, so I can be talking to you and the camera is not, I'm not looking at the camera the way I should look at it. I can plug in the script on it and it alters my eyeball so that I look at the camera the way I should look at it, and AI has done that post-production. But what has happened is it has shortened all of that 2 weeks and the amount of work. Now, let me layer that with the reality. The work that took 2 weeks to be done was done by about 4 people working together. Script writer, cameraman, post-production guy, audio guy. Took 4 people working tediously to get it done. And I can do it solo, 90 minutes. How many of us are using ChatGPT? By show of hands? All right, quite a number of us. How many of us are using Gemini? Quite a number of us. How many of us are using Claude? A few people are using Claude by Anthropic. So the concern really is, it's already, like you said, part of us. Let me go back to the role of marketers. Marketers have always been obsessed with tools, right? We have always been obsessed with tools. So if you go back to the traditional era, right, marketers were obsessed with tools that allowed them to know which radio station to put their ads, which TV station. So they had the tools with regards to, media placement and all of that. When you got into the web era, marketers became obsessed with how the web can help them sell. So web became a tool, you understand? You got into mobile. We became obsessed with mobile as a tool. Then we got into socials, and social became a tool. So what has happened basically is that every era has resulted in fundamental shifts in favor of marketing. No fear, no capping. All right? So the thing is, mess around with artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? It's basically just a simulation of human intelligence process by machines. So it's not, like you said, it's nothing, it's the same thing that human minds do, but you allow machines to do it. So what I'm saying to marketers generally is, mess around with some of these things and you find out the one that is more productive. So I'll tell you my personal experience. I found out that when I'm using Gemini to analyze a static image, I don't get the results. For instance, I asked Gemini, interpret the closest bus stops on this map. So I find myself in another country and I need to find, because I don't know my way around. And I say, Gemini, please, this is the map, the metro map. What's the nearest bus stop for me to get to my hotel? Gemini doesn't answer me very well, right? But I know there's another AI tool that works. So I put the image on ChatGPT and I say, please, where are the best bus stops closest to my hotel on the metro? And it tells me the 2 closest bus stops and it interprets. What am I saying in essence? You may not know what works best for you as a marketer using AI, But the more you play around with the different AI tools, the better you get. And let me use the now very popular phrase, you understand, AI is not going to take your job, but somebody who knows how to use AI will take your job. I am biased. I would like AI to help me bias and win customers, so I stand guilty. All right? But I to be on a serious note, Gen AI it's a particular kind of AI, right? And why is it called, GPT? It's generative pre-trained transformer. So it has an advantage over the human intelligence because it is pre-trained with billions, millions of data. So I can have a brain freeze, right? If you ask me a question. Actually, I'll tell you what. I went to conduct a training for one of the oil and gas companies, and I discovered that they had a problem managing, and I'm using a real life case example. They had a problem managing objections, and sometimes they have a brain freeze. But guess what? I gave them an example of using the GPTs on ChatGPT to point to, because again, people only use ChatGPT to chat most times, but there are GPT plugins, and there's this plugin on ChatGPT called Web Pilot, right, on ChatGPT as a plugin. And what it basically did was basically to point to the web address and went there to analyze all the objections they can have based on the product they were selling. And it gave them tons and tons of objections and how to answer the objection. What am I saying? The advantage that AI will have all the time is that as a human being, you might get tired, you might have a mental freeze. AI will not have a mental freeze. So we have an advantage over you. But the thing is, you have to train the AI first and foremost so that it becomes what you can't do, easily. You can get tired, you can't work 24 hours, but AI can work 24 hours. By the way, has anybody noticed that chatbots on websites are smarter now, they are better now? Who has noticed? Before the advent of ChatGPT, when you were chatting on any website, it was horrible. It was a wasted process sometimes. But you have now trained the chatbots, you understand, on ChatGPT based on the data that you have, and it has become smarter. It's reality already. I don't know how many of you are aware of Ludu Magalu. Ludu Magalu is an AI influencer based out of Brazil. She has well over 16 million followers on social media already. 14 million of them are on Facebook and Instagram, right? What does this mean? We are there already because when you have problems with your influencers who cannot make their appointment, who are charging you too much money, who cannot post because people in US are at a different time, you will want to use an AI who doesn't sleep, doesn't eat, doesn't need to change clothes to come for your event and all of that. So reality is that AI influencers are here with us. By the way, last shot. It's so important now that a few days ago, Dubai has announced that they are trying to build 1 million, they are trying to find 1 million AI prompt engineers in the next 3 years. And they're asking everybody, if you are a prompt engineer, Dubai is where you should be, because they will find 1 million prompt engineers in 3 years. So let me speak from a creative, I work in the creative industry. Red Wolf is a digital, like I said. The secret to staying authentic is to first and foremost have an idea of what you want to create. All right? If you don't know what you want to create, AI will create rubbish for you. All right? And so even when AI creates stuff for you, you already have an idea of what you wanted to create, and you can personalize it and make it yourself. Yes, all the AI tools have inflection, tonalities, but like this gentleman said, somebody sent me something last week and I told him this thing was written by AI. People already, human beings already know stuff written by AI. Do you understand? So please, I'll give you an example. My team is working on creating a name for a brand, and they were struggling. And I said, why are you struggling? Use Namelix. Namelix and AI. And so they typed it in. So it tells you which category, which segment, which industry, what do you do, and came up with about 300 options with logos. Namelix, check it out. But guess what? Some of those names that were created are already domain name registered. So you have to go and check, do your background check. If you create an image, be sure that that image does not exist. Use Google Lens to check it out and be sure it doesn't exist. But try and tell an authentic story even using AI to aid you. Thank you.